Hi, this is Mrs. Smith. I'm going to try to do a quick tutorial over convection currents. In convection current, I usually write the V with arrows just to help remind us what a convection current is. Hot air rises. When it cools off, it sinks, therefore creating currents. Now, currents is the movement of a fluid, so liquid and gases. So convection currents in the ocean are our ocean currents. Convection current in the air is that moving air, so we call that wind or breeze. Okay, so if we have wind blowing across the ocean, we know that's going to move the water. Those are called surface currents. Now, in the deep ocean, convection currents in the ocean, we have the warm water in red. Warm water comes from the equator. And let me go back for a minute. Convection currents are driven by the sun because the sun is what causes that heating on the earth to make those hot fluids rise. So the sun is shining directly on the equator, so that's how warm water comes from the equator. It's going south here and it's traveling north right there. And then our cold water is coming from the pole. So down here is coming from the South Pole. This cold water is coming from the North Pole right here. So when that warm water and cold water mixes, the heat is going to rise, cold is going to sink. So it's creating this movement here, a convection current. And right here we have that V right there in convection. Okay, now, convection currents in the air, we're going to call wind. Let me move this out the way. So, as the sun heats the ground, warm air rises. Now, the further the air gets away from the ground, it starts to cool off and it sinks. So, there it's going to move that air, and we feel that as wind. So, like we're at the beach right here on a coastal area. Here's the land, here's the water. During the daytime, we know the sun heats up the land faster than the water. So now hot air is rising above the land. It is getting cooled off. That's why I got purple. Red and blue makes purple. It's cooling off. Once it gets colder, it sinks. So when this air sinks, it's going to push that air over the land, creating this sea breeze right here. Okay. So, but then the opposite happens at night. We know that during the day the land heated up faster, but at night it cools off faster. So now the land is cold and the water still has some of that heat or more of that heat from the daytime. So now the hot air is rising over the water. The further it gets away, it's going to start to cool off. And then once it's colder, it's going to sink. So now this cold air, when it sinks, it pushes the air that way in front of it, creating a land breeze right there. And so winds usually blow from high to low pressure. Okay, so hopefully that helped a little bit. I just wanted to be quick and to the point. So I'm done and done.